What's going on, y'all? Nightmare Comics 1. I know it's been a while, but well, it actually hasn't. It's been like a week and a half now. But well, 2 weeks now. Uh, I wanted to put something up, and this will be a little random, but okay. Um, over the past few weeks or whatnot, still been reading all my releases and things like that. I just wanted to talk about a few that kind of stood out to me over the past few weeks or whatever. Mainly from last week, but a couple others here and there. Um, I want to start with Dancer Number 4 by Nathan Edmondson. Art by I forget right now because I'm not looking at it. Um, this is this. Let me try to explain the premise to this. Um, a retired secret agent, or what I think is a secret agent. They don't really a guy with special training. Let's just put it like that. He he now lives with well, he's now trying to move on with his girlfriend. Then one day, everything's peaceful, and then they get attacked. She gets kidnapped, and then he finds out that the attacker and the kidnap well, they get attacked first, and he finds out the attacker as he tries to defend himself is him, and well, at least it looks just like him except younger. Um, we find out that this spoilers all over this. We find out that the guy that attacked him is a clone of him from when he was a secret agent back in the day, and this whole series is pretty much a cat and mouse game between him and the clone. Uh, I'm a big fan of Nathan Edmondson. I mean, I ain't gonna say big fan, but like I'm a fan of when he does stuff like this. Who is Jake Ellis was like one of the best miniseries of last year, and it was incredible, and this is like following his footsteps. I actually think it's a little bit better. Um, I totally dig this. Um, I like all the twists it's taking. You know what I mean, especially the current issue. Like the last page, it makes you wonder, like how is this a good thing? You know what I mean? But this is I truly enjoyed it. Seriously. All right. As I said, random. TMNT 12. This is the end of this series here, like this current run of TMNT, and I thought every issue of this was fun, and it ended how you would expect it to end, with the last pretty much four issues being focused on Splinter and Shredder. And growing up, I'll be honest with you, I was not the biggest, TMNT fan. I'll be 100% honest with you. Like, I never got into the original cartoon. I just started watching the 2003 remake. I didn't like it at first, but it's actually not bad at all when like watching it now. Of course, I like the movies, and I read the comics here and there, so But I wasn't like heavily into TMNT. But this is a great series. I'm pretty sure this will all be out on trade soon if it's not out. I definitely recommend this, especially if you know someone that was a TMNT fan, well, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan back in the '80s. I definitely recommend this. Would be a good gift for them. A lot of like, some of this is kind of rebooted, reimagined, but it really speaks to the spirit of the Turtles. I feel like this is like an all ages book. I would say, to be honest with you, not that many mature themes in it, things like that. It is seriously an all ages book, and I think that most people. At least I think it's an all ages book. I could be wrong about that, but it seems like to me anyone can pick this up and enjoy it. You know what I mean, and you not have to shield your children from it. There's no real debt. Well, I think so. That's just me. I'm gonna get to a true all ages book and a little bit of a rant also. Um, Two things I want to talk about at the very end of this video. I'm kind of skipping all over the place though. All right. Next, I want to talk about Hypernaturals 1 and 2. Um, without necessarily reviewing each book, I'll just say this: it's DNA, Danny, Abnett and Lanning. doing a cosmic book not in the Marvel universe, and it's pretty much, if you read Annihilators, this book is Annihilators except without, the Annihilators. You know what I mean? And that just totally works. Like, it's pretty much a group of superpowered beings dealing with issues amongst themselves and also trying to, fight crime and shit like that. You know what I mean? There's a good storyline. One that's not so super powered, but has armor that makes this person super powered, and it's a good storyline. I can tell they're developing there. You know what I mean? Both issues have been strong. The writing's been strong. I really like where this is going. Boom has been on a roll. Obviously, Irredeemable just ended. Irredeemable and Incorruptible just ended. The end of Irredeemable was absolutely incredible. You know what I mean? So I totally expect this. They pretty much told DNA go out there and just do Marvel Cosmic, except without Marvel characters, and you know what I mean, it works just as well. I'm totally digging this so far. I'm all in. I am all in. You know what I mean? um, the next, as I said, skipping. The next we got Captain America number 16. This book, Captain America in general, like the current run, the current Brubaker one. This book gets a lot of criticism because a lot of people say it's corny. It's a lot of random stuff, things like that. And I kind of disagree, man. I think honestly, it's just fun. You know what I mean? Is it corny? Yeah, it's a little corny, but I think it's not super grim, and it's just kind of campy. You know what I mean? And I don't see nothing wrong. Honestly, I'm having a good time with this book. Like, I've enjoyed almost every minus two issues. I've enjoyed like every issue of this title. I don't think it's bad at all. Do I think it's the best Brubaker stuff right now? Probably not. Winter Soldier's probably better than this. Winter Soldier's probably definitely better than this. But I think it's good. I enjoy it. It's fun. I mean, I was gonna talk about Winter Soldier, but that's about all I need to say. It's better than this. And yeah, that's pretty much all that needs to be said. It's good. All right, the next I want to talk about Transformers Regeneration. I said Regeneration 1. Pretty much this is pretty much picking up where the Marvel books left off, and I was the first issue, number 81. I was really into, really got me hyped, because I was like, I really like the last page. I like the teaser and all that stuff. But I think 82 kind of fell into into the trap of there is too many things happening in 82 to the point where it's a little hard to follow. You know what I mean? You still get all your favorites, all your favorite Decepticons and Autobots in this book. You know what I mean? Well, in number 82, but the thing is that it's not really, it's just a little much. You know what I mean? And yeah, as y'all know, I'm a huge Transformers fan, and it works for me, but I don't know if it'll work for everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like the I see what they're doing, and I see the direction they're going. They're pretty much they're rebuilding Megatron up to be, what we know him as. You know what I mean? Because at first he was, they didn't, they had lost him. This after the Great War was over, obviously, and he was thought to have been, dead, and he pretty much shows back up in this, and it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but then that's when they start introducing all these other storylines, with Hot Rod and kind of Optimus, kind of doing their own stuff, and it's just a lot, but it's told in a way to where, I think you can grasp it, but it is a lot to grasp. You know what I mean? So I would recommend it if you're a Transformer fan, but not necessarily recommend it. You know what I'm saying? All right. The next I want to talk about the Valiant stuff in general, but I want to talk about the one that just came out this week. I had to download this, because I don't know if I think it's only digital only anyway, but I wanted to read it. So I downloaded this Archer and Armstrong. This is dope. Like this is Fred Van Lent wrote this, so this is dope. This is a lot of fun, pretty much. Archer is weird. Armstrong is tough. I didn't really read the Valiant stuff first time around, obviously. Yeah, man. But this is dope. Like shit, there's a lot of fun. The fight scene in this towards the end is greatness. Like the thing that kind of makes them work together is also really fun. I just thought honestly this could be like an episode of a TV show, and like it'd be like one of the most fun and action packed episodes of a TV show ever. Like it's just a lot. Like in terms of story, is it kind of thin? Is it a little weak? Yeah, probably. But in terms of just like making me feel how I did as a kid, you know what I mean? Like reading comics, you know what I mean? Just as a kid, opening, being excited, opening up a book, and just having a fun time for a good 25 to 30 pages. This delivers in every way. Like this was a lot of fun. All the Valiant stuff has kind of been that, you know what I mean? Since they brought it back, Bloodshot, all that stuff. I don't feel like going through all the titles, but all that stuff has been kind of this, you know what I mean? Some of them have been like really strong stories, but for the most part, it's just been like, kind of what you want from comics, you know what I mean? Just, being able to pick something up and enjoy it, close it, you know what I mean, and then go about your business, you know what I mean? I really enjoy it, you know what I mean? Harbinger was another good one, another one that really gave you that same type of feeling, so, I would recommend that wholeheartedly, to be honest with you. Alright, the next one we'll talk about Artifacts. I'm just gonna talk about number 20. Um, I'll say this is great. The art is amazing. Sajic is a great artist. Ron Mars, of course. Like to me, in my opinion, next to Capullo and Snyder, in terms of art writing combination, like they are, you know, I think they're on the same level, to be honest with you, as Snyder and Capullo. Like it's kind of like you kind of tell that with Ron Mars' thoughts, this is how he wanted it to look. You know what I mean? Because the art itself, like just the art by itself, is like on another level. Now I think everything else on the shelves right now. I think this is the best art in comics. Like his art is incredible. Pretty much, this is the story of the Heartstone. What I forget the bitch name that has it right now. The Heartstone allows you to see like ghosts and different shits like that. And it's pretty much her dealing with having it. You know what I mean? And she's also a nurse, so like she sees like I don't want to ruin it, but it's a good story. You know what I mean? And it's just good stuff. Yeah, I would wholeheartedly recommend this. This whole series has been great. You can start. You don't have to read any other Top Cow stuff. You can just read this series because at the moment I don't. You know what I mean? Like I was gonna read The Darkness, but financially it's just not feasible. You know what I mean? I probably will at some point. I used to when I was like in high school. I was heavy in the Top Cow. You know what I mean? It's just not feasible right now. That's just being real. I just read this though, and this is great. Ron Mars is amazing. The dude is a genius. You know what I mean? And this book is genius. And the thing is that every issue you can read alone, even though there's like a big story behind everything. You know what I mean? But you can read each issue by itself. And you won't even need like because also they do a good job of explaining what happened before in like in the first few pages. Like Marvel does this too, but I think like in these books, in the Top Cow books, they do a really good job of explaining what you may have missed. You know what I mean? So, and then at the end of every book, they provide you with more information about each artifact or each character you see. You know what I mean? So, if you hadn't read this, if you never checked out any of the Top Cow stuff, I recommend that. All right, and next I want to talk about two number ones that came out from Marvel, but I'm talking about Gambit first. Gambit number one, written by James Osmus. This is fun. I liked everything about this book except one thing. Why is Gambit stealing shit again? They don't explain it. Like the whole time, they don't explain it. You know what he wants to steal. You don't know why he wants to steal it, which doesn't make any sense. But minus just that, in terms of just telling the story, this book is fun. It's a whole lot of fun. You know, a lot of motherfuckers. If y'all saw the X-Men cartoon in the '90s, y'all thought Gambit was a cool character, and y'all wanted to know more about him being a thief. You know what I mean, kind of the person that he is, sort of. You know what I mean, I would definitely recommend this. You know, this book seems like it's gonna go places too. I like the last page. I'm wondering what they're gonna do. I thought this was good, man. I thought this was very good, to be honest with you. So I would I wholeheartedly recommend this, to be honest with you. Like this is a fun book, real shit. Um, the next we got Hawkeye #1. Uh, I thought this was fun too, but I don't know what to think. I don't know if I'm going to keep picking this up. Clint Barton's one of my favorite characters. Everybody that knows me knows that y'all know how hyped I got when I found out he was gonna be in the Avengers movie. Shit in Thor when I saw him. Man. I love Clint Barton. You know what I mean? He reminds me of me. You know what I mean? He's not as gifted as everyone around him, but he ain't no punk either. You know what I mean? So this is this story is about him. He got hurt. He fell out a window, hurt himself, and he got out of the hospital, or whatever. And then he got home and he found out that the motherfucking landlord to his apartment building or whatever was pretty much strong arming people out of money. So yeah, Clint finds out he's strong arming people out of money. Yeah, the magic of editing. So he comes back and he tries to make things right or whatever. He gets into a skirmish with the landlord, and then the dog gets hurt. A lot of things happen. Well, not a lot of, to be honest with you, not a lot of things, but it's just kind of cool getting into the psyche of Clint. But my biggest problem with the book is that, okay, it's and this is it's small, but it's really not when you think about it. This is Hawkeye. There is no actual archery action at all. Like not once do you see Clint shoot an arrow, and that's kind of a problem, to be honest with you, because it's Hawkeye. That might not seem like much of a complaint, but it is at the same time it is, and at the same time it isn't. You know what I mean? If I can explain it, I know it doesn't make much sense, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep reading it. Was it a good #1? Yeah, it was a good #1, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep reading it, to be honest with you. I don't know. Like I'm not one of those people that hate Matt Fraction. I'll get to why in a second. But I'm one of those people that can acknowledge, aside from Iron Man, he's been pretty horrible. I can acknowledge it. But I didn't think this was horrible. I just don't know if I'm going to keep reading it. Let's put it like that. This is why I don't hate the man. Invincible Iron Man currently. Just what's going on now. The whole situation with him and Justine Hammer and Sasha Hammer, it's kind of over for the moment. But on top, after all this happened, Mandarin has slipped his way in a position of power over Tony. I don't want to ruin how, but it's pretty much Tony dealing with the fact that the Mandarin is now, is now over him. You know what I mean? And he has to find a way to turn the tides. And in doing so, he may have to work with people that are less than desirable to him. You know what I mean? I don't want to ruin it, but this is great. This is why Fraction has a job at Marvel, to be 100% honest with you. This book put this dude on the map. That's why he's able to pretty much get whatever job he wants, because it's one of the greatest runs. To me, it is the greatest Iron Man run of all time. I'm sorry. It just is to me. You know what I mean? And this is a character I didn't like. I say this all the time, but this is a character I did not like. You know what I mean? The movie came out, I liked the movie, and then I picked up Invincible Iron Man #1, and I've liked every issue minus the Fear Itself stuff ever since. You know what I mean? This is great. This is great. Seriously, like, I'm not saying you can't, this is one of the only flaw with Invincible Iron Man is that you cannot pick it up and read it. You have to come in at the very beginning of an arc, or you will be lost. You You know what I mean? Like you can't just pick up the next issue. You can't pick up 523 and read it. You know what I mean? It's not gonna work. But this is good though. Like I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Seriously. All right. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, Batman. Batman. What's going on now? The Court of Owls and all the other good stuff. Um, the Court of Owls is over. There was a big reveal at the end that has divided a lot of people. I've been reading a lot of craziness. Um, I'll say this: I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was well written into the story, and I thought it was really shocking. Like I don't think anyone saw it coming, and they also leave it in the air. Like is it true? Is it not? You know what I mean? And the book after the end of the Court of Owls was a one and done story about this girl who lived in the Narrows, and her brother was being picked on because he was homosexual, and Batman saved him. Like they were about to get beat up one day, and Batman came and he beat up the gang that was about to. Well, he scared them, and then he was like, you leave these people alone, you don't hurt them, and then he left, and they thought it was like the coolest thing. Hell, I was marking out when it happened because like it was written well, you know what I mean? Like the art was perfect. Capullo didn't do the art in this one though. I don't remember right now off the top of the head, but the art was like perfect. Everything was like that scene was great. You know what I mean? And then old girl, she wanted to help Batman after that. You know what I mean? So she kept like in the Court of Owls, if y'all remember, there was the sequence where Batman was in the sewer, and he was the villain, I forget who it was at the time, was getting the best of him, and then we don't necessarily see it in the Court of Owls exactly what happened, but she was the person that helped him in the issue. You know what I mean? We kind of see her backstory. It's actually pretty cool. Actually, very well written. And I don't want to ruin how it ends because it's a very Batman way for the story to end. And that was good too. So Scott Snyder. I'm not sure if this is the best book on the shelves anymore because a few I just named, and also one I'm about to talk about is really giving it a run for his money. But I don't know if there's a better writer-artist tandem better than Snyder and Capullo right now, minus Sajic and Mars and on Artifacts. I don't know seriously. Like it's Capullo, they're just on it right now. It's just like they're locked in and they can do no wrong right now. Seriously, so I truly don't know. All right, the next I want to talk about what I'll say it, what I think is the best book on the shelves right now, and that's Daredevil. Daredevil's getting really good, y'all. Like it's Mark Waid is he's doing a really good job, and it's getting really good. Like he was like Daredevil was just in Latveria, and now Doom's trying to harness like Doctor Doom's trying to harness his radar sense, take it away from him essentially. You know what I mean? I don't think they ever wrote anything like this before. You know what I mean? It feels like, and the one thing I kind of worried about when and it's not necessarily worried, but the one thing I kind of was kind of like I ain't gonna say I can't think of the word, but the one thing that alarmed me a little bit is that the Marvel universe is kind of fucked up right now. Like it's kind of discombobulated. A lot of guys a lot of like the books are kind of directionless, to be honest with you. It's just a lot of like X-Men right now minus X-Force, which I will talk about. Really just all over the place right now, and just the Marvel universe in general. And I thought that Wade was just going to kind of say fuck the Marvel U and just tell like Daredevil stories. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, as great as that is, you know what I mean, as great as that would be and stuff, you have to acknowledge that there is a universe going on, you know what I mean, around what's going, like, you know what I mean, even Snyder does it, you know what I mean, with Batman, you know what I mean, like he Nightwing appears a lot in Batman, you know what I mean, same with Tim, and stuff like that. You have to acknowledge that there are other things going on. A lot of writers forget to do that, and I'm not gonna say it makes the book suffer, but it's definitely not, like, things are definitely not as good as they could be when you do a thing like that. And Wade, thankfully, has not done that at all. It's not overshadowed his book, but he has done a well enough job to make Daredevil seem like he's still an Avenger and a part of the Marvel U. You know what I mean? And the way he's able to do that and also still develop Daredevil at the same time as a character is pretty amazing. Like he's to me he's doing a really bang up job right now, knocking it out the park. Like at the current rate he's going, this could seriously go up there with Bendis and Miller, one of the best Daredevil runs of all time. It seriously can. Like he's on it right now, seriously. And if y'all ain't reading that book, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. You need help. Seek therapy because it's amazing. Like seek therapy, seriously. All right. Next, I want to talk about Green Lantern. I have dropped every Lantern book minus the main book. Reason being is because Corps, I don't know what they're doing with Green Lantern Corps, to be quite real with you. New Guardians is terrible. Red Lanterns is just fuck that book. Like that book that's another one where it's like, I'm like whatever, it's. But the main book's still dynamite. Jeff Johns seemed like that's the only book he cares about. Because I don't read Aquaman, but I get a mixed response from that. And most people I talk to tell me Justice League is terrible. So the only book that John seems to care about is Green Lantern, and it's great. I mean, like he just bought back Black Hand. They're not going to do full-fledged Blackest Night, obviously, but Black Hand, or at least I don't know, maybe. But Black Hand, he died and he got his Black Lantern ring back, and a lot of crazy stuff is happening, man. It's good too. This is also great. The dynamic with Sinestro and Hal, just as good as it's ever been. You should read this also because it's pretty good right now, and Jeff Johns is doing a bang up job with it right now. So even if you're not a fan of Aquaman and all the other books he's doing, this one is good. All right, should I just go to the Uncanny X-Force? What I want to talk about also. They reformed they reformed the Brotherhood of Mutants in this, and the current Brotherhood is the Omega Clan, which is 3 clones of Omega Red, and the Omega Clan, the skinless guy from the Age of from the other world, from Captain Britain's world. I forget his name, but him, Sabretooth, obviously, Daken, and I think that's it. Daken. I'm not forgetting somebody. Oh, and Genesis, and but Genesis kind of against his will. If you don't know, Genesis is the clone of Apocalypse, but except he was raised to be good by Fantomex, and okay, let me just talk about that. Rick Remender is amazing because he took a character that did not work in any way, in my opinion. Yeah, this is my opinion. And when Grant Morrison created him in a new X-Men and kept him around and stuff, I think he didn't work at all. I thought like he was kind of pointless, and I thought he was like it was too many inconsistencies with him. You know what I mean? And he just wasn't pleasant to read, to be honest with you. He wasn't all that appealing. And I'm talking about Fantomex. And he's been probably my favorite character in Uncanny X-Force. You know what I mean? And something just happened to him that I don't want to ruin. But it affected me. You know what I mean? Like it didn't bother me to the level of something else I'm going to talk about, but it affected me, and this was this series it's been great. It's every arc has been great. Every issue has been at least really good, and y'all all need to be reading this. Like, I know I keep saying that, but y'all seriously all need to be reading this. This is probably the best team book on the shelves, in my opinion. Like, there are some really good ones. I was just talking about Hypernaturals. Obviously Transformers. There are some really good ones right now, but I feel like Uncanny X-Force is the best. You know what I mean? Y'all need to read that. Like, Y'all need to read that. That's all I'm saying. Y'all seriously need to fucking read that. Seriously. Um. All right. Is that everything minus the big two I wanted to talk about? Uh. Yeah, I think that's everything. Now let's talk about the ones that have either garnered a lot of buzz or people have talked about the most. Um, I'm going to talk about the biggest one first, which is Avengers versus X-Men. Just the series in general so far. Uh, it has been a shade above mediocre. And there's only one reason it has suffered. The premise is good. They've done some interesting things. Like the Phoenix Five thing is interesting. It's never been like I wouldn't imagine them doing something like that. You know what I mean, if you don't know the Phoenix Force divided itself into five people. Not gonna ruin the five people. Read the book. Uh, and it's been like that. You know what I mean? And Hope is trying to learn how to take the Phoenix and defeat the Phoenix and control it. You know what I mean? And that's why she went to I don't know how to pronounce it, but Iron Fist. You know, Iron Fist is his home city. You know what I mean? To learn, how to be one with herself, kind of like to learn how to harness her chi and shit like that. You know what I mean? And it is the concept is interesting. It's just it's too much of nothing that happens. You know what I mean? And then they don't take advantage of all the issues. Like we rarely see what the X-Men think. The Avengers dominate, what they, the book. You know what I mean? And it kind of looks like at first, especially at first, it kind of looked like the X-Men were being douches. You know what I mean? Like now, it's not so much X-Men versus Avengers. It's more so Phoenix Five versus everyone else. To be honest with you, and to be honest, and another thing that's bad about it is that you need to read all the tie-ins because the main book doesn't even go back and explain, some of the things that happen coming into the next book. Like at the beginning of every book, it shows what side each person is on that's in the conflict, and then things happen and people switch sides, and not only that, people get captured and people die, and sometimes it don't even happen in the main book. It happens in some of the tie-in books. You know what I mean? And that is a problem. You know what I mean? As I said, if it would have just been well constructed, the story itself, the premise is not bad at all. You know what I mean? The premise is, I think it's actually excellent. You know what I mean? I just think the execution has been so off. You know what I mean? The art has been inconsistent at best. You know what I mean? Every Jason Aaron issue, and I hate to say this about Jason Aaron, he's been getting me upset in terms of his Hulk lately too. But every Jason Aaron issue, and I really like the guy, has not been that great. You know what I mean? I gotta be honest, it's not been that great. John Hickman and crazy enough Bendis have wrote the best issues, and I don't know, man. Like I really wanna like this. I do. Honestly, I really believe it will end well, though. Because as I said, the premise, I know what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? I don't know how it's going to end. I have no idea. No earthly idea. But I get what they're doing. I just think something needs to happen. It just needs to get fixed. You know what I mean? It just needs to, I don't know. Something needs to happen. It needs to get fixed. Oh, but yeah. That's how I feel about Avengers versus X-Men. But, before I talk about the last book I want to talk about, let me rant real quick. I've been reading Avenging Spider-Man, and I like this book a lot. I think it's real. Oh, I ain't talking about Saga either. I mean, see, I haven't wrote anything down, so I'm gonna talk about Avenging Spider-Man and Saga, and I'm gonna talk about the last book I want to talk about. Okay. This book is great. Like, this book is old school Spider-Man fun, to be honest with you. Spidey being witty, getting into hilarious situations, especially the She-Hulk issue. That was hilarious. Doing pretty much being a fun book and also not being all adult and edgy. You know what I mean? Like there's a really like one of the early stories with Hawkeye is like one of my favorite issues of this book. Because Hawkeye has this thing where he never missed and all this stuff, and then he missed for the first time in the book. He missed, and when Hawkeye was running to see if because he was showing off and shit, and when Hawkeye was running to see if he missed or not, Pete made it look like he hit the shot. You know what I mean? Like Pete ended up stopping the guy, and he made it look like he hit the shot. Also, his friend, wouldn't be upset. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's good. It has good morals. You know what I mean? Like there's a moral to like almost every story. You know what I mean? And every ending is like emotional. You know what I mean? And not only that, it's just all the stories are fun. Like they did a Captain America one too that I won't get into right now, but the one that just passed is Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel, whatever you want to call her. That was good too. Every issue of this book has been good. It's hard to write a bad issue of this book. And this is what Amazing Spider-Man should feel like, to be honest with you. And, I'm not going to talk too much about Dan Slott's run because I'm going to be honest with you, I read one arc and it just didn't interest me. That's just being real. But I feel like the main book should feel like this. You know what I mean? Whenever you see Spidey, it should feel like this, to be honest with you. It should be just fun. Just mindless fun, to be honest. Mindless fun, but like really fun. Like fun enough to make you want to read it. You know what I mean? And Avengers Spider-Man is fun. It's really fun, man. Every issue has been really, really fun. And I don't get why the main book doesn't feel like this. And Ultimate definitely doesn't. Pete ain't even in Ultimate no more. But, I really, really like this book. It's like one of my favorite books right now. Like if I had to put together a list of 10, it would be on my 10. It's that fun. I really like this book. You know what I mean? Then also I wanted to talk about Saga. Also amazing. His name Brian K. Vaughan, the mastermind behind Why the Last Man. This is his next project. This is his current project. Emotional stuff, beautiful art, great characters, just great stuff. You know what I mean? A lot of twists and turns in this. A lot of unexpected things happen. Just you will not be disappointed if you check this out. I really, really, really enjoy this book. This would also be in my 10. You know what I mean? I just wanted to talk about it real quick because I know motherfuckers will be like, you ain't reading that? I am reading that, okay? Anything else you want to know if I'm reading, just put in the comments and I'll tell you. Alright, before this gets insanely long, which it probably already, I know it already is, let me talk about Walking Dead 100. That's the book everyone's been asking me about. Hey, Markeem, you read this? What'd you think? Blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna spoil the hell out of this. So if you hadn't read Walking Dead, if you did not caught up, you hadn't read this, I'm about to spoil it. Rick and the gang are approached by this guy named Jesus, and he tells them about this giant settlement they have, and he said they're having problems with this group called the Saviors, and this dude named Negan is the leader, and they pretty much like, if you kill these people, if you deal with them, he didn't say kill, but if you deal with them, you get, we'll give you a place to stay, all that good stuff. Y'all welcome here anyway, but it'll really make things easier for everyone if you just deal with it, Negan and all them. So, they come to the alright, hopefully that's the last time I cut out, but, like I was saying, Negan, yeah, they was like, deal with Negan, and it'd be, so, Rick was rounding up people to go back to the I think they were going back to the hilltop to pretty much devise a plan or something like that, because he was moving everybody. Some of them stayed behind, pretty much they wanted to make sure everything was alright there before they just decided to move everybody up there, and something like that. And then Maggie, she found out she was pregnant, told Glenn about it. Glenn and Maggie, I think, were like moving. They were just moving up there, something like that. I can't remember all the details right now. It's been like a month. I get refreshed every time I open the book. Let's just put it like that. It's hard to think, but let me just hit the hot spot. Let me just hit what everyone's been talking about. But she told Glenn she was pregnant. We know him for like 2 issues or whatever. Glenn was excited. Glenn, he was talking about how he wanted really fight to be alive for his family now and things like that. So as they're leaving or whatever, nighttime hits, they stop, they rest, and then As they wake up, they're surrounded by Negan and pretty much 100 of his boys, because some of his boys tried to invade the village they were in or whatever, and Rick killed quite a few of them. Rick and the group killed quite a few of them. And, Negan didn't like that. I mean, he was yeah, he rolled up on him. He was like, you killed some of my boys. He said, that's not cool where I'm at. He was like, so here's what I'm gonna do. You got to give me half of everything you get. And then Rick was like, if I refuse, and he was like, you ain't in a position to really refuse, anything I say. He was like, and he said, I got to square it out. You killed some of my boys. I got to take at least one of yours. You know what I mean? So whips out a barbed wire baseball bat. And he doesn't know which one. He goes through. He talks about the pros and cons of killing each one. One problem with this issue. This is the one problem. The dialogue at that part is some of the worst writing ever. Motherfuckers don't talk like that, and it was awful. It was just like, that was so bad. Like, Negan's dialogue was the worst. Like, it was like roll your eyes bad. You know what I mean? Damn near ruined the emotion of what happened. But he was doing eeny meeny miny mo, counting and shit like that, and then he stopped on Glenn, and Glenn's like, no, and then Maggie's upset too, and I'm sitting there and I'm just like frozen. I'm like in a frozen state, like, Glenn cannot die. Andrea's gonna come from out of nowhere and shoot him. Something's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Glenn cannot die. You know what I mean? And then he puts Glenn on his knees in front of him. He raises his bat in the air, whack. And the first time he hits him, I'm like, okay, this is an optical illusion. I'm gonna turn this page. Glenn's gonna be alright. Like, Michonne's gonna be in the way with her sword to stop the bat or something. Something's gonna happen. I turn the page, man. Glenn's head's like bashed in, and like his eyeballs bulging out his head. And I'm like, dear God, he's gonna live through this though. Somehow he's gonna live. Like, he's gonna be alright. Like, he ain't gonna hit him no more, and Glenn's gonna be alright. And the whole time, Glenn is like mumbling. And like he keeps mumbling, and Negan's saying like bad guy shit, and then Glenn looks over and he yells Maggie, Maggie, and then Negan hits him again, and he keeps hitting him, and he keeps hitting him, and then you see nothing but like scrambled brains and like skull on the ground, and then I'm trying to cry now, but then he tells Rick, he was like, well, y'all know I'm serious now. I want, half of everything you got. Rick tells him, no matter what happens, it might not happen today. Hell, it might not happen a month from now, but at some point I'll kill you. You know what I mean? And then Negan was like, all right, well, you heard what I wanted. I'll leave you fellas to it and shit like that. And he leaves, and that's how issue 100 ends. If you can't tell, it affected me like pretty heavy. Like when I read it, I wasn't having the best day. I knew I shouldn't have read it because it was issue 100 of The Walking Dead. I knew Rob Kirkman was gonna do something crazy and messed up to someone I like. I actually thought Carl was gonna end up dying, but because they was building it like as the worst thing that ever happened to Rick. I don't know if it's the worst thing, but it's definitely it hit me the hardest from anyone else's death, because Lori's death, I was upset. Unlike the show, she was truly likable in the book. You know what I mean? And her dying was like really sad. I felt horrible for Rick and Carl, obviously. You know what I mean? And it was so shocking. That let you know no one was safe when they did that. You know what I mean? And then for a while, other people died. It's bothering me, but not like, because Glenn had been around since issue 2. You know what I mean? And he was like, my favorite character is Andrea, but like if they kill her, I'll probably just lose it. But Glenn was probably second. You know what I mean? And that really really messed with me. Like, every time I think about it, I get upset. I'm trying to hold it in now because I feel it happening to me. I feel it. I feel myself, tearing up a little bit. But it was a lot, man. Like that issue was heavy on emotion. And the way it was written, it was like the whole time you're thinking, like, dear God, somehow Glenn's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? I was really, really torn up by it. Like I hadn't been that upset about someone I had known dying. You know what I mean? Like upset about it like that in a long time, to be honest with you. So that was yeah, that's probably, to be honest with you, that's probably my favorite comic book issue of the year. I don't know about the best. It's probably not the best. As I said, Negan's dialogue was horrible, but you know that really really messed with me. But I'm gonna leave on that note. Um, I'll let y'all later, man. My next video, I'm gonna try and have it next week. Try and bring back the weekly comic book thing. This is just random, yeah, just to give y'all some reviews. But next week, hopefully, I'll be back on a more weekly basis. You know what I mean? So I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.